A man ruled by emotions is a man easily broken. You have felt it. That fire in your chest, that pressure in your throat, that voice screaming in your head telling you to react, to fight, to explode. Maybe it was after someone disrespected you. Maybe it was when life kicked you while you were already down. In those moments, your emotions took the wheel and you crashed. But here's the truth. No one told us when we were young, emotions are not weakness. But when left unchecked, they become your cage. What if I told you you could walk through the worst day of your life and still be unmoved? What if you could feel everything, anger, frustration, pain, and still choose what to do with that fire? What if you could own your power, instead of giving it away to everything and everyone around you? This is not about ignoring your emotions. It's about mastering them, like a warrior, in silence watching, waiting, never reacting without purpose. That's not suppression, that's control, that's power. Napoleon Hill once said that attachment is the invisible thread that ties your peace to the outside world. And every time that world shifts, your peace gets pulled with it. But what if that thread didn't exist? What if you could cut it? That is what this video is about. Not theory, not fluff, but the hard-earned path to inner freedom. I speak to you, the man rebuilding, the man who's been knocked down by life and is now standing up, stronger, sharper, and more focused than ever. And before we dive deep into this warrior's path, let me ask you this. What are you doing right now, watching this in the morning, afternoon, or late at night? Let me know in the comments. I want to know when warriors like you show up for yourself. You've been told to be strong, to man up, to not let things get to you. But no one showed you how. No one taught you how to face the storm inside without drowning in it. So you did what most men do, you buried it, or you let it explode. Both cost you your relationships, your peace, your self-respect. But what if your strength wasn't in silence or in rage, but in awareness? At the Shaolin temple, the monks do not train to defeat enemies. They train to master themselves. Every breath, every step, every stillness is an act of discipline. They do not react. They observe. They do not cling. They release. That is what makes them unshakable. And this path is not reserved for monks. It is for you, for every man who has hit the ground and is now ready to rise differently. Not with blind force, but with controlled fire. Not by fighting harder, but by seeing clearer. You are about to learn how to never be controlled by emotions again. This is not just a lesson. It's a call to arms, a return to your center, a reclaiming of your focus, your energy, your power. Let's begin. You've said it before. I'm angry. I'm broken. I'm a failure. But let me tell you something most men never hear. That is not who you are. That is a moment speaking, a state, not your soul. Anger, sadness, frustration. They are visitors. You are the home. Imagine this, a clear blue sky, endless, still, strong. That is you, your emotions. They're just clouds passing through, sometimes heavy, sometimes dark, but never permanent. Most men have been trained since childhood to believe that how they feel is who they are. If you get angry, you're hot-headed. If you feel down, you're weak. If you stay quiet, you're cold. These are lies. And worse, they are prison. What if I told you that you could feel everything and still not be defined by any of it? This is not spiritual fluff. This is psychological warfare. Because if every emotion defines you, you're a puppet, controlled by weather you cannot predict. But when you step back, when you see the emotion rise like a wave and realize you are not the wave, you are the ocean beneath, that's when everything changes. This is what the Shaolin monks live by. They don't fight feelings. They observe them. They train their minds, not to be numb, but to be clear, to stand like a mountain while the storm rages. They understand that strength is not about resistance. It's about space. The space between stimulus and response. And that space is freedom. Napoleon Hill once said, "You are not disturbed by what happens, but by your attachment to it." Emotions only control you when you believe they are permanent, when you wear them like skin, instead of letting them float like wind. So how do you start? You begin by noticing The next time anger rises, don't react. Just watch. The next time disappointment creeps in, breathe, stay still, like a soldier, waiting for the enemy to move first. Let your awareness lead, not your wounds, not your ego. This isn't easy, but neither is being controlled by rage, broken by fear, or dragged down by shame. Discipline begins with recognition. Mastery begins with disassociation. You are not what you feel. You are who chooses what to do with that feeling. And the moment you embrace that truth, you step into the first stage of real power. The kind that doesn't shout. The kind that doesn't need to prove anything. The kind that leads from within. You've heard the voice. That one inside your head, screaming when someone insults you. It tells you to snap, to punch, to burn bridges, and too often, you obey. But here's what separates the man controlled by emotion from the man who controls it. The presence of a second voice, the one that watches, the one that sees you clench your fists, hears your thoughts rise like thunder, but doesn't act with them. That voice is the observer, and it is your key to freedom. In the Shaolin temple, monks don't just learn how to strike, they learn how to stop. They train their bodies to stand still for hours, not to torture themselves, but to sharpen their minds. In stillness, they meet the observer, the one who doesn't react, who simply watches. Most men are trapped in their first reaction. The insult, the frustration, the slighted hits, and they explode. But the observer stands back. He feels the flame but does not become the fire. This is not weakness. It is power under control. Observation creates distance, and in that distance lies discipline. Napoleon Hill spoke of this. He believed that every man had the ability to rise above emotion through what he called autosuggestion. The power to speak into your own mind before the world does. But to use this power, you must first know when your mind is being hijacked. Observation is your training ground. It begins with simple practices. When you feel the rise, pause. Do not run from the feeling. Sit with it. Breathe. Notice what it does to your body, your heartbeat, your breath, the tension in your jaw. This act alone shifts you from participant to witness. Over time, this becomes your edge, because most men fight battles without seeing them coming. But you watch the storm roll in before it ever touches you. The observer is the warrior's greatest ally. He doesn't speak often, but he is always there waiting for you to be still enough to hear him. When you train your observer, you don't just manage your emotions, you command them. You lead yourself, even when the world pulls at you from every angle. And this, brother, is how you begin to reclaim your throne, not by reacting louder, but by standing quieter, not by showing force, but by choosing when and if force is necessary. The man who observes is not passive. He is precise. You think you're angry because of what she said. You think you're broken because he left. You think your worth depends on being seen, respected, or validated. But here's the truth. You're not suffering because of what happened. You're suffering because of what you're attached to. Attachment is the invisible thread that ties your peace to the world. It connects your worth to someone's approval, your confidence to success, your calm to comfort. And when that world shifts, and it always does, your peace goes with it. Napoleon Hill warned us about this. He said when your self-worth is tied to people, outcomes, or recognition, you live in chains. You become reactive, weak, controlled. But detachment, that's freedom. This does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop needing. You stop depending on the world to act a certain way for you to feel whole. Because the moment you let go of needing things to go your way, you begin to see things as they really are. The monks of the Shaolin temple know this well. They practice detachment not because they are numb, but because they are free. They understand that if you are attached to praise, you become a slave to opinion. If you are attached to comfort, you fear discomfort. And if you are attached to people, you lose yourself every time they change. So how do you let go? You question the voice inside. When something bothers you, ask, what am I holding on to? What expectation just got crushed? Maybe it's the belief that you should never be disrespected. Maybe it's the story that you're only valuable if you're winning. Start there. Because every pain is a signal not of what's wrong outside, but of what's too tight inside. This isn't about isolation, it's about power. You're not here to need approval. You're here to walk your path with clarity. You're not here to win every argument. You're here to protect your peace. You're not here to be liked. You're here to lead. When you detach, you stop being pulled by every emotion, every opinion, every storm, and instead, you become the calm inside it. Remember this, you are not disrespected by their silence. You are hurt by your craving to be acknowledged. You are not shaken by their success. You are haunted by your own comparison. Detachment cuts that rope. And once it's cut, no one holds you anymore. Most men don't lose because they're weak. They lose because they're distracted. You've got dreams, discipline, fire. But every time someone disrespects you, you look their way. Every time life throws chaos, you turn your attention to the noise. And that's where your power drains. Napoleon Hill said it best. Where attention goes, energy flows. If your focus is scattered, so is your strength. Focus is not a soft skill. It is your blade. At the Shaolin temple, monks train not just to move, but to stay still. They learn to put their full attention into every breath, every step. Why? Because without focus, you are owned by the outside world. But with focus, you are untouchable. When you give your attention to what doesn't serve you, the argument, the opinion, the distraction, you are handing your sword to someone else. And warriors do not disarm themselves for noise. You must learn to guard your focus like your life depends on it. Because it does, every day. The world will beg for your attention. Social media, drama, fear. But the warrior knows energy is sacred. He puts it only where it builds him, where it sharpens him, where it moves him forward. You cannot rise if your eyes are on the ground. You cannot lead if your mind is chasing everything but your mission. Focus is your freedom. Keep it close. You've come this far, not just in this video, but in life. You've fallen. You've been broken. You've reacted when you should have breathed. You've chased validation, clung to people, lost yourself in moments you couldn't control. But none of that defines you. What defines you is this. You're still here, still watching, still searching, and most importantly, still rebuilding. Now you carry a truth many men never get to hold. You are not your emotions. You are not your past. You are not the opinion of others. You are the observer, the builder, the one who gets back up. Stillness is not weakness. It is your weapon. Awareness is not passive. It is your shield. Detachment is not cold. It is your freedom. The world will continue to test you. People will push your buttons. Life will challenge your peace. But you now know the gap. The sacred space between trigger and response. And that space is where your power lives. So here's the challenge. Not next week, not someday. Today, every morning, take 5 minutes. Just 5. Sit, breathe. Watch your mind. When it wanders, bring it back. When anger rises, don't chase it. When pain whispers, don't answer. Just observe. You are sharpening your blade throughout the day. Guard your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. Stop feeding your energy to things that steal your fire. Choose one thing daily that makes you stronger mentally, emotionally, physically. Go all in. Let it build you. And when the storms come, because they will remember this, you don't have to prove anything. You don't have to react. You don't have to win every battle. The strongest warrior is the one who stays rooted when everything shakes. Napoleon Hill once said, "The journey is not to gain more, but to need less." That's the essence of this path. You don't need control. You don't need praise. You don't need anyone to understand you. You just need to know who you are and hold that ground. If something in this video struck you, don't let it pass. Comment below. Tell me what moment hit the hardest. I read every word because this is not content. This is a brotherhood. Stillness is your sword. Awareness is your armor. Discipline is your path. Walk forward. One step, one breath, one choice at a time.